With X-Men 97 getting such high praise, for, what it brings to the table and being a very respectful, soft continuation of the original animated series, it's no wonder why people are always so glad when, fans of the series, growing up, get to be part of it in a creative manner. I mean, I talked about basically in a video, last week, that as strange as it could be, the comparisons between X-Men, the animated series, and by extension 97, the comparisons, as strange as it might be, to, let's say, something like Archie Sonic, which is the Archie comic book of Sonic the Hedgehog, is because, like Archie Sonic, like I said, as strange as it might sound, X-Men and X-Men 97 by extension are essentially, hybrids, a hodgepodge, if you will, of everything that the franchise has been about. I mean, any story arc you could think of, any element, that you could think of from all incarnations and spin-offs of X-Men, is being incorporated. And that's a great thing, because you're giving fans of different, variations of the franchise a little something of everything. And that's what made Archie Sonic so beloved, in its own right. Because it was giving fans a little bit of what they loved about the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. From the games to Sea3on, adventures, you name it. They went all out. They went all out. But the one big praise that X-Men 97 gets is the fact that it's TV-14 or TV-PG, PG-13, however you want to look at it, but mostly TV-14, but, advertised on Disney Plus with a TV-PG banner, even though, like I said in the previous video, it was advertised mostly as TV-14. So somebody has to work on that right there, kind of correct that. But anyway, it got me thinking, and I've talked about this briefly as well, as to why something like Team Season Animated, and what they're doing is so important to the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Because when you watch the original series, the original Sea3on series on Paramount Plus, and by extension YouTube, you will notice that there's a certain rating, that's utilized for it. Now, it doesn't show the rating on the YouTube presentations, but it does show the rating on Paramount Plus. And that rating is TV-Y7, TV-Y7, and sometimes even TV-Y7, TV-Y7 FV, but mostly TV-Y7. And for a lot of folks, they know that TV-Y7 is still kind of, a G rating, but it's kind of like a G plus rating. And what I mean by G plus, I'm talking mainly along the lines of it's almost PG. It's almost a PG rating, but it's G plus. Basically saying that, with a G rating or a TV-Y rating, it's for 7 and up. Well, not 7 and up, but it's mainly for 7 and under, if you know what I mean. But Y7 is basically saying 7 and up. It's meant for an older set of kids, or, adolescents, if you will, growing up. That's what it's meant for. And sometimes when you put the FV on there, it pretty much, confirms that, yeah, it is for 7 and up, but it also is borderlining on that close to PG. That's why sometimes you'll get an FV, in association with Y7. But if you look at it from an MP rating perspective, the Y7 is just G+, which is essentially, very close to PG. And why do I bring this up? Well, like I said, going back to X-Men 97, it was promoted, as TV-14, even though, you go to Disney Plus, it says TV-PG, but we could say it's basically around PG-13. We could put it around that, I guess you could say that rating frame, if you will, of, what it really is, what it should be really rated. And we could say it's TV-PG-13. So when it comes to what Season's doing, the reason I bring this up is in the hands of fans that grew up on the show, you're bound to see story arcs not only be developed that were originally planned by previous writers, including those that have passed on, but you're also getting a sense that in today's day and age, not only are you going to see those stories possibly be brought to life, but you're going to see them be brought to life in a manner that basically makes, how they were originally set to be presented, had everything gone to plan, pale in comparison or seem tame. In other words, you're going to get a more mature level of storytelling, a more mature presentation of the characters, unlike what you had before. I mean, look at it this way. The one thing Sea3on did with, let's say, the main character Sonic, is they actually made him very vulnerable. I mean, you look at Season 1's episode, Sonic's Nightmare. You look at, how he feels about having to leave his Uncle Chuck behind, even though his Uncle Chuck got his free will back. I mean, they make him very vulnerable. They make him very real, in a sense. So imagine making a character with in a TVY7 show feel that way, in that, I guess you could say, capacity, and then amp it up just a little bit more to a PG-rated, feel, to a PG-rated, like, atmosphere and storytelling. Imagine taking that and amping it up, because that's exactly the direction I believe Team Season Animated, is going with this potential revival of Sonic Sea3on Season 3 that they're working on. I mean, just by the WIPs, the animatics, and all that, you could see that this is not going to be a TVY7 presentation. It's not going to have that TVY7, I guess you could say, what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. It's not going to have that TVY7 shield on it. No. Instead, it's going to have a TV PG presence. That's what it's going to have. And a lot of people that are supporting Season right now, Season Animated Team Season right now, can see that. They can see that this revival, this pilot, to get it back, on the air, to at least get it onto a streaming platform, they know that this ain't going to be something that's going to, placate to the TVY7 audience. That this is going to be more of a TV PG product, maybe borderlining, if things are successful and they can continue on with more, borderlining perhaps on PG-13. So, so that's why when people like me talk highly about what Team Season is doing, we're not doing it just because we want to see it become a reality. We do, but we're doing it because we know the presentation is going to be more mature. It's going to be handled in a way that in the original run, you would never be able to get away with. Never. I mean, I mentioned in the previous video that we have to appreciate streaming services and outlets like Netflix and Disney Plus being around, because of the fact that you could do more. You have a little bit more leeway, a little bit more freedom to do more, to expand more on the story and the characters than you would under a broadcast network umbrella. And when you look at what Team Season's doing, that's exactly what they're planning to do, in my opinion. That's exactly what they're planning to do. They're planning to expand more. They're planning to do more, because of the fact that they're going to have more leeway, more freedom to do such, on a platform like YouTube, and maybe even a streaming platform if, this show succeeds and Sega gives the okay to continue it, in some capacity. They will be able to do more. I mean, going back to Archie Sonic, over time, they did a lot with that comic that when you looked at it, you would even tell yourself that if that was made into an animated episode or movie or special, that story, because they did some, very mature stories, okay, and very mature character developing, that all of that could belong under a PG-rated, umbrella, basically a PG-rated shield. It could be given that rating right off the bat, just based on how it was being showcased in the comic. So imagine So imagine, that kind of storytelling in a regular 22, 25-page comic. Imagine that kind of storytelling by fans who grew up on it themselves, and working alongside them, being people that, also working alongside, I should say, people that worked on the original series. Imagine that kind of storytelling being applied to something like Season. Imagine that. Imagine, what you're going to see is, basically an episode, a pilot that basically makes, and I say it with all due respect and love, to the original series, because I loved it. I loved every episode. I enjoyed it. Well, some I didn't. You get the idea. But imagine when it's all said and done, you see that first pilot, you are going to see an episode, a pilot, that, and again, I say it with all due respect and love as a fan, that's going to take a lot of the episodes in Season 1 and even Season 2 and basically make them look, pale in comparison. Because of the maturity that this pilot's going to have, the storytelling, the presentation it's going to have. It is, just proof that when you have people that grew up on the original series working on some kind of continuation, in some form, you're going to get something even more, more, I guess you could say, mature, more, more deep, in its presentation than you would have gotten with the original. And that's why, like I said, going back to it, people praise X-Men 97. Because not only is it on Disney Plus, a streaming platform, not only does it have basically a PG-13 rating, whether it's TV PG or 14, the reason they praise it so highly is not because it's a decent, continuation, a worthy continuation, soft or not, to the original series, but it's being done in a more mature in a more mature level, in a more mature capacity. The storylines are more deeper than the original series would be allowed. The character development is more deeper, and the characters are presented in a way that they should have been presented in the original series. And that's why X-Men 97 has gotten that praise, because of the team that's working behind it, and the team consists of not only the original crew that worked behind the scenes, but also the fans that are now part of the new crew along with them that are helping to bring this to life. And that's why when you go and you support, or you hear people, telling you, hey, you should support Team Season, you should support this Sonic the Hedgehog project by these people trying to get the third season off the ground, and you're having all these media outlets like comicbook.com and others coming out and telling you this, doing articles, extensive articles, then that's saying something, because they know that if fans are working on trying to get this back, back on its feet, if fans are working on it, and they know that their plan is to try to get it on a bigger platform, mostly a streaming platform, those people that put those articles together talking about it realize that what we would be getting is a more mature, PG-rated like continuation. That's what they know we'd be getting. Maybe something that borderlines at times with its topics and episodes on PG-13, but mostly a PG-rated show that's a little bit more mature in tone, in what it brings to the table. And that's it. That is it. And I think a lot of people, like I said, need to be very appreciative of outlets like YouTube, Netflix, and Disney Plus being around, but so that stuff like this can actually be brought to the table and made into a reality. People need to, have that appreciation. They do. But again, this is why Team Season is such a big, big deal. And I do apologize if I sounded like I was distracted. I was watching a cat climb the fence outside. But anyway, like I said, this is why people, when like I said, you have these articles, very extensive, detailed articles, telling you about this and telling you that the main goal is to get it, on a bigger platform than YouTube, with all due respect to YouTube. and to try to continue the series where it left off, they're telling you that, as I mentioned, because they know, with fans being behind this happening, actual fans that grew up on it, along with certain people that worked on the original series, you're going to get something that's more suitable for, not just for, fans, Sonic fans of today, but more suitable for fans of yesteryear that grew up on the original. They know that. They know you're going to get something better. No, I wouldn't say better, because nothing, beats Sea3on. Let's be honest, with all due respect to the other shows. But they know you're going to get something just as good, if not better, in its presentation as a continuation. So that's why when I look at X-Men 97, I see a show that, with all the praise it's getting, with fans, actual fans that grew up on the original, working behind the scenes with members of the original crew, to bring together, to bring to life stories that they know from a network broadcast perspective they would never be able to do, and be able to get the rating at borderlines between basically PG-13. That to me, is a testament that, yes, things like, shows like that can make a comeback and they can succeed. And that's why people need to support projects like Team Season, to get it so they can get it off the ground, and we could possibly see a continuation done in a manner that basically, is more mature in its tone than the original one was, because of network restrictions. But that's all I can really say about it, guys. I do apologize if I was a little all over the place. If I sounded a little distracted, like I said, it was a cat climbing the fence. Is one of our neighbor's cats. And I'm also trying to do this before my mom gets home, because, she's coming straight from Livermore to Newman. But let me know what your thoughts are. Comment down below. Live chat during the premiere if you're watching on YouTube. Let me know how you feel about all this. Comment below. Like I said, like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. But yeah, give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts on what I had to say, because again, we're in an unprecedented time now, folks, where things like this can become a reality and become a success. Let me know what your thoughts are, and I'll talk to you later.